Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Christopher Baroni. I'm with the Lakeland Aero Country Club. I am the CEO and the litigation chairman, and today I'm going to be going over, for the last time, the outcome of the recall and recalls for the year 2019, and what that means for you today, and then also where you should send your dues. All right. So let me start off by saying that the first recall of the year was a recall of a single director, Michael Allen, where around 180 votes was obtained, I believe, at the first meeting, and 189, or right around there, at the adjourned meeting. That meeting was properly adjourned, but because the membership, and only got 189 ballots, there was no need for us to continue. The recall was unsuccessful. Simultaneously, a membership, I think the first of ever, where a membership bypassed the board, even though two directors were promoting it, bypassed the board and ran their recall election at the same time. Outside of the many improprieties of what they did and how they did it, they ran into the same issue, although it was handled differently. They came in at around 180 some. They adjourned their meeting properly, came back in 4 days, properly held a meeting, and had with like 188, 189 votes as well. They never met the required minimum number of votes, period. So that was the end of it. But because Lord Management and Michael Allen had vested interests in deceiving you, they then tried to convince you that you could reduce the minimum requirement, which nowhere it says you can do that for a recall. And I'm going to read to you what it says for a recall and why it doesn't go to a different section later on. So here it is. Often cited by the three hack attorneys who've been lying to you and sending you emails and letters in the mail with Lord Management, it says, as provided for in Corporations Code 722, the entire board may be removed if the membership, by the membership, if, and then it gives you larger and smaller associations. If you go to number 2, it's going to say that in a corporation with 50 or more members, the removal is approved by the affirmative vote of a majority of votes represented and voting at a duly held meeting at which a quorum is present, with the affirmative votes also constituting a majority of the required quorum. What you're getting from attorneys are things that probably stop somewhere in there to make it look like it's theirs, typical attorney stuff. You have to take and read the entire part of it, okay? Here it clearly says, in a corporation with 50 or more members, the removal is approved by the affirmative vote of the majority of votes represented at and voting at a duly held meeting in which a quorum is present. Not a reduced quorum that is present, but a quorum that is present. So, Chris, what's a quorum? Well, we have 459 homes, so it's 230. So the minimum is 230. 230 is a quorum, okay? So at a meeting in which a quorum is present, with affirmative votes also constituting the majority of the required quorum. So it's basically doubling back up on that to make it really clear. It's saying that, hey, not only must you have a quorum, because you could have 230 votes, right? I mean, you could have 250 votes, but you still need a minimum of 230. See, it says with the affirmative votes also constituting the majority of the required quorum. So in other words, if you had 230 votes, you'd need 100% of them to be the affirmative. It's very simple. If you had 280, you would just need 230. So you could have 50 that aren't for the quorum or aren't for the recall and 230 that are, and you're good. It's fine. Very simple. Okay, the voting requirement described above also applies to the removal of individual directors. Okay. And it talks about cumulative voting, which we're not going to get into. It's not relevant here. Okay, so that's what the corporation code says. Now, what these hack attorneys have done is they've stopped it somewhere along here. It says in corporation code with 50 or more members, the removal is approved by the affirmative vote of the majority of votes represented and voting at a duly held meeting. Now, you'll see that the quotes stop sometimes with some of these hacks right there. Well, the reason why they stop it right there is because the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words, they don't want you to know, which is at which a quorum is present. Okay. Now, Chris, they reduced the quorum 25% to get their vote. I agree. They did. But that's no longer a quorum. That's why we call it reduced. There's no language here, specifically, because there can't be. And if you want to doubt that, after it says with the affirmative votes also constituting a majority of the required quorum. The required quorum, not the reduced quorum, the required quorum of 230. Okay? It's over. Not because I say so, because that's what it says. And you've been hoodwinked and lied to by none other than the guy who's been hoodwinking you, lying to you, and suing you, Michael Allen. Okay? And Harriet Cohen and Hal Siegel and Yvette 2K and Mary Wood and Jeff Herring and Andrea Jackson and Julianne and Eric Ertelbrand or whatever their name is. Been here a whopping 3 months and know nothing. But they're out there telling you. Okay? That's it. They're all lying to you. They know it. I bet you Tom and Jan Allen know it. I bet you that's why they're quiet now. I bet you for some reason they understand it. Interesting. Jan Weber, how you doing? Disagree? You look silly. Told you you'd look silly. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Tried to edit a lot of the stuff out that didn't need to be in there, but just wanted to kind of close on something that I think is important with regards to next Wednesday's meeting. In case there is any confusion after this, there should not be. I think any one of you know now, again for the last time, why the corporation code reads the way it does, why hack attorneys would not give you the entire corporation code, and also the ability to understand why the minimum requirement of a quorum is there. Entering in other parts of something that has nothing to do with the actual recall won't work. The corporation code is specific. It is easy to read and understand, and it is complete, as are our bylaws. So Wednesday's meeting, the board of directors will be the same board of directors you had. So the 5 members that will be sitting up there will be President Mike Heumann, Vice President Dave DiNapoli, Treasurer Paul Bromley, Secretary Hal Siegel, and Director at Large Michael Allen. That is the board. Now, if there are those of you that disagree, okay, you can vote again in March. You want to run another recall before then, I think you can do that too. I don't recommend it though. And then there's also the legal channel that you can take to do that. But you don't have an attorney in the state of California who can even defeat me on the argument. So if you would like to spend your money that way, have them watch this video first and save yourself some time and money. It's clear as day. It's over. Enjoy. You guys have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing y'all on Wednesday, and thank you for your time.